Hi there, Cosmo family. My name is Eliel in this incarnation. While we go through the climate of this full moon in Aries, that could bring, a little bit of agitation. I don't know if I'm inventing that word, but it could be shaky, in certain cases. So we can decide, to get independent, taking distance, making cuts of certain situations that are not really contributing energetically. Today, I wanted to comment a few things about Mercury because yesterday entered October 6th, entered in Scorpio, and in this first instance is going to stay here until October 29th. And I am saying first instance because it is going to retrograde the first days of November from Sagittarius to Scorpio. First degrees of Sagittarius, last degrees of Scorpio. So I'm going to mention this again ahead, but from October 21st until November 9th, we are going to go through the shadow period of Mercury, which is the period where Mercury goes through the mathematical degrees that is going to reveal later. So the things that we approach those days regarding the signs, the houses in which Mercury is transiting, and the topics linked with Mercury, conversations, decisions, mental processes, investments, traveling, all of that is going to be reviewed. But well, today, coming back to October 7th, Mercury in Scorpio perfected its square with Pluto in Aquarius. That is almost direct. We are a few days away of Pluto becoming direct. And this could mean, for some people, conversations in which the parties are, in this kind of projection. This could be a transit where, there could be a lot of tendency to see what others, to listen to what others are saying from this filter of the things that are hurting us or are causing discomfort, and not actually listening what the other person is saying. And there is no true communication without true listening. And what happens is that this way we could take, everything that the other person says as, an attack, when it is not that way, or, in certain circumstances where there is a true imbalance in the way that the other person is communicating or manipulatory intentions. Anyways, responding with all the emotional charge, because Mercury is going through a sign of water. All the emotional charge that could be removed, from that situation, it is not going to be the best way to solve things. So this is about turning ourselves aware of the parts that could be removed again through those situations or with those external people, and recognizing how much of our energy it is truly worth to invest in certain conversations. If we are doing that from a space of wanting actually to resolve something, or it is because we are trying to control circumstances, we are explaining things that we don't have to explain anymore. This square, it is an invitation to take decisions that could free ourselves so we can walk in greater authenticity, making spaces for relationships or projects that are not actually representing an energetic drain. On the contrary, it is about awakening enthusiasm, passion, and will of moving forward. And something that I am seeing with a lot of frequency with these transits, it is that if we already have identified that there are certain dynamics where other people are behaving in an abusive way. This is another perspective of Pluto. We could establish a boundary, we could communicate once, but if those people are persisting in that kind of behavior, to get angry and to force that person to stop to do that, it turns into a manipulation. Because truly, those kind of situations are showing us that we are the ones that we have to take the decision to detach from that space. Because in the end, we are trying to force to somebody else to be something that is not right now. And even if we really consider that they are behaving in an imbalanced way, there are people that don't have the capacity to see it, or perhaps they are not going to develop it, never. So it is the person that is being conscious about that, about the dynamic that is not being positive, the one that has to take the decision to let go of, or at least not involve himself or herself in those kind of situations. What happens is that many people sustain them because of emotional attachments, material attachments, etc. So many times what really causes discomfort or makes us angry, it is not only that the other person are behaving in a form that we don't consider respectful. What really bothers us, it is that we are allowing those behaviors to keep giving energy or sustaining conversations from that place, and that is responsibility of oneself. We cannot do anything with the others. I am referring that if there is a true possibility of transforming something through a conflict, because in many cases this could really be something positive, but if there is a possibility, we are going to do so with the parties in this position to recognize their own imbalances. I mean, each one looking inwards, observing the reflection, but not because we are forcing the other to recognize it. So Mercury is this possibility to go to the depths of those parts that were denied in shadow, to allow ourselves to transform and to let die whatever thing right now it is actually taking away our energy. Also, this transit could be this excessive focus, turning around with our mind in certain situations, because they are also removing us emotionally. So it is important to identify the emotional roots so we can do the transmutation of bases. Those situations could be showing us perhaps painful or traumatic experiences that we are called right now to integrate in a new level, so we can liberate ourselves from those burdens. Because with these squares, one of the extremes, Pluto is a planet of extremes, and also Mercury going through Scorpio, many times we could want to free ourselves from something that is not in our power or in our control right now to do so. And even if it's uncomfortable, if that situation is there, it is because it is teaching us something. And once we can connect with the emotions that situation is invoking, and we can look behind the deep rejection, then we can illuminate something, an aspect of ourselves that we didn't see before. And that is what actually produces the liberation that eventually could be materialized in reality, if that is a desire of the soul. But what happens in the mental, emotional, and energetical level is truly important. So this is a transit in which we could investigate about things that can really cause us passion, but also in the things that lead us to think as we are thinking, or taking certain decisions are not the unconscious aspects of ourselves, the ones that rule our choices, because many times they produce chaos too. So you perhaps have listened to this before, people telling themselves the narrative that they found they have encounters with people that they don't like, because that is something random that happens in their life, and there is no random experience actually. In fact, in the intuitive level, we could perceive certain things that then we prove in the facts. So Mercury in Scorpio also reminds us that intuition could be very, very powerful, and that if there is a situation or a person or an experience that are not making us feel good, we have to pay attention to that. Mercury in Scorpio in its shadow could also be, being paranoid. That is an extreme. But, we could recognize when we are acting from a preconcept, and when we are judging through past experiences, or because of concepts that we are sustaining of certain things in general. And, Intuition emerges from presence and observation. It is not a judgment. In fact, when we are not giving too much credit to that, the rational mind could have the tendency to look for an explanation or to reject. Intuition also is manifested in the body. And other thing it is that when we truly listen to intuition, that gives us inner peace, which not always happens with preconcept. So I am going to close the video here today. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.